Hello everybody, this is Stephen Hankins and I'm going to tie a couple flies for you here. We're going to use this one feather and get two bugs out of it. First one's going to be a soft hackle caddis pupa. So we're going to start our thread 70 denier UTC in olive. Then we're going to take some chartreuse brassy ultra wire. I'm going to tie this in. We're going to tie it in and make a little tag at the back. This represents the little bit of green that caddis pupa have. It also gives a little weight, help it get down. Adds a little bit of flash. Trout like it. Tying this on a 2X heavy wire hook. Also to help it get down. Now I like to tie a little bit of that, keep it in the body, and just help with that weight still. I don't like to add beads to my soft hackle, but I like to have a little bit of weight. Okay. I'll show you a couple techniques in this pattern. This is going to be the split thread dubbing technique. When you want a real light coat of dubbing, the split thread technique is often a good one. So I'll show you what I mean. So right now our thread is corded up. So to uncord it, to flatten it out, you're going to spin it counterclockwise. I don't know if the camera is going to show the uncording there, but it's flattening out right now. So that's pretty good. So then take your bodkin, split the thread. All right, now take some dubbing. Here I'm using Awesome Possum dubbing. I've been using the same selection for years. I don't think I'm ever going to run out. You don't need a whole lot. Again, we want a real thin kind of veil. Think sparkle pupa when you think about this. Just that kind of veil of dubbing. Okay, so that's in the thread. So next step is to spin it back clockwise. We're going to cord it back up. Okay, that's pretty good. So we're just going to kind of spiral it forward. We don't want a lot. We just want that kind of loose veil of dubbing in there. Okay, that's pretty good. Then I'm going to take some of this Whitlock SLF, a dark color. Here I'm going to use Red Fox Squirrel Thorax color. Just put in a little bit of that, just a normal kind of twisted on the thread dubbing. Okay. Okay, now take your bodkin and pick some of that back out. Also use a dubbing brush. I just like to put a little bit of dark dubbing at the front. Okay. I use crystal flash for the antenna. I find that this little bit of flash makes a difference when you're swinging soft hackles and through pods of fish. I've had times where the fly with the crystal flash antenna outfished the other fly in tandem of the same pattern. So I like it. So there's our little antenna. Okay, we'll trim those. Okay, so now for the grouse. We're using grouse feather here. So take your hackle plier. Grab this by the tip. Expose the tip. Trim it. Now we're going to tie in by the tip right there. Okay. Now we want to attach our hackle plier again. We're going to put about 1.5 to 2 wraps of hackle. We don't want a lot of hackle. I think a good soft hackle is a sparse soft hackle, so maybe a little bit more. Okay, maybe that's about 2 wraps. Okay. Put a couple of securing wraps on there, and then sneak in your anadromous fly company spring scissors in there. Cut. Okay, we'll clean that up a little bit. Also too, with dry flies and soft hackles, any kind of hackle, I think it's a good idea to put a few securing wraps in through that hackle. It might put a little bit of the fibers out of place, but it'll add to the durability of your fly. Okay, so there we go. That is my springtime soft hackle pupa. It's great. Bull Shoals, White River, Arkansas, springtime caddis. That's a winner. So finish off there. Okay. Oops. Scissors are sharp. Okay, good enough. Put a little bit of head cement real quick, then we'll move on to the nymph. Don't need much. That's just some Sally Hansen's. All right, so there's our soft hackle. Love that fly. It's a good one. I'm going to trim those antenna just a hair. All right, so the next fly we're going to get out of that grouse feather is going to be a brown drake nymph. I call it a brown drake nymph. I was looking for a good nymph pattern to take on my summer trip this year to fish along with those big parachutes. Okay. We use the same thread. Thread color is not all that important. Little beeswax on the thread helps. Okay, Start off in the usual manner. Thread base. Snip off the excess. Okay, so I think my point with this video is to show you that you can really use scrap feathers to tie a lot of flies. So here's a CDL feather. A lot of that you're not going to use on your dry flies, this fluffy stuff down here at the base. But I think they make great nymph tails, so that's what we're going to do here. Again, they're just too soft to be a good dry fly tail, but they're good for a nymph. Okay. So that's the base of a CDL feather, dark Pardo. Go down around that bend a little bit more. Okay. Then we'll tie that down up the hook and maintain the thickness. Okay, next material is going to be this hollow shimmer. It's a craft store find. We're going to ribbit with that. Okay. Okay. Now the next material. This is really old package of Hare's Ear Plus Dubbin. I've had it forever. It doesn't ever seem to go away, so I just keep on using it. So I've snipped the corner off of the bag, and we're gonna dub our body with this stuff. Pretty good. It has some sparkle. I'm sure it's some kind of antron mixed with the rabbit. No, you don't want a real buggy, fibrous body like we had on the soft hackle. I like a little bit of a tighter body here. It's a nymph, so you want some fuzziness, but not too much. Okay, so dub that in, make it nice and thick. Again, this is my thought for a brown drake nymph, so kind of a big bug. Now take that hollow shimmer, ribbit. Probably can't see it in the camera, but it's going to add some nice flash. Okay. Now, our next piece of scrap material that we're going to use for this is a little pheasant tail. Now, this pheasant tail is not ideal for your pheasant tail nymph, but this stuff here, it's not good for tailing, but it's good for a wing case. So I'm just going to take a nice size clump of that. Snip it off, clean up the end a little bit. We're going to tie that in. Okay. Let's put a little more wax on our thread. I haven't always used wax, but I've started doing it lately. I find it just adds a little bit of grip to your thread. All right, next material is going to be from this same Whitlock SLF dispenser. Here we're going to use Dragonfly Dark. Going to give it a little buggy, little thorax. Probably going to need a little bit more than that, but we'll see. Okay, there's our thorax. So we'll grab the remainder of our grouse feather, and you know, we could really get 2 more flies out of that one piece of scrap. So that's what I'm going to do with this feather. I'm just that cheap of a fly tyer. I save scrap materials and think, what could I do with that? So there, we split that. We got legs for 2 nymphs with that. Okay. All right, so next we're gonna tie in the legs with that little piece of scrap grouse. The other good thing about using that beeswax is it gives your fingers a little bit of tackiness as well. All right, so we're just gonna lay that on top of the fly. Come in, hold it with our other hand. 1 loose wrap, 1 tight wrap. Now don't tighten it too much because we're going to pull on the tag end and shorten up those legs. Okay, that looks pretty good. A little short, but it'll fish. Okay, now we're going to fold our wing case forward. There we have it. And in keeping with this theme of using scraps, we have enough wing case there for another nymph. So let's clean up that head a bit. Now we'll whip finish. I use a hand whip finish. Get them cheap. I don't see the need for the tool, so I was taught to do it this way, so I've continued to use a hand whip finish. Okay. There we have our brown drake nymph. That's on a size 12. That's a fish catcher as well. I designed that for fishing the Rio Grande National Forest area when the big bugs are out. Fish that below a green drake parachute, brown drake parachute, something like that. Oh, forgot the head cement. A little too much. So there we have it. Hope you enjoyed that video showing you don't throw away those scraps so you can get more bugs out of them. There you go. Thanks for watching.